So hello, this is Basil with N2V. Joining me today is Andrew Warner, who's usually actually does a fair share of interviews himself, but he happens to be the guest today. Andrew founded and sold a very successful online greeting cards site, and also the founder of Mixergy.com. I invited him today to talk about his entrepreneurial adventures and learn from his past experience and also present experience as well. First, let me welcome you to the interview, Andrew.
Thanks. Good to be here.
So let's start by talking about your old business, Bradford & Reed. What was the most difficult undertaking or maybe an obstacle that you happened to face, and how did you overcome that?
I remember getting really excited once telling a friend of mine, we just left college. I was saying, I'm going to do this thing. We're going to get lots of users. We're going to make lots of money with it. We're going to grow it. We're going to touch so many different people's lives with what I'm building. It's fantastic. I can't wait to just keep building and building this. And the guy said, you're so full of energy. You're so full of confidence. You could probably get a great job somewhere. You don't have to do this. And I thought, what an insult. Here I am trying to start a company, and he's thinking that it's a failure to even start because I'm not recognizing my value. He almost thinks of it as like going on welfare, starting my own company. And he doesn't think much of me as an entrepreneur, that he's telling me that I should give this up and go work at a job. I had months where we were just spending money. I remember walking into my brother's bedroom. We started it when we were still living with my parents. Walking into my brother's bedroom and saying, Michael, we work so many hours and we're not even earning minimum wage. I did the math on it and we're earning like $3 an hour. This is just torture. And that went on for a long time. That sticking with it when things weren't working, that was the biggest challenge. And I kept with it anyway, and I swore that whatever I do after that, when we sold the last major piece of the previous company, Bradford & Reed, I said, now I have the freedom to do whatever I want. I don't have to worry. I said, I'm never going to take that kind of attitude again. I'm never going to let myself feel like I can't do it or beat myself up when it's early on and I'm not seeing enough profits or progress or whatever. And then I did it again anyway. Like that mind game of staying positive, of not letting yourself get too full of doubts and not wanting to stop because of it. That's one of the biggest challenges.
And how long was it before you saw real money and that's sort of enticed you to go at it?
It might have been like a year or two, but it felt like forever.
I bet.
It felt like forever.
Yeah, it's
and meanwhile, you look back and you go, a year or two, come on. There are people who work at go-nowhere jobs for 5 years hoping to one day do something great. They might work at a restaurant for 5 years hoping to be a chef one day and not making any real progress, I guess. I don't know the restaurant business.
Trust me, I do. I had a couple of restaurants of my own, and that was a painful experience. But like you said, you keep going at it and you believe in it, and eventually, some things will work out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, talking also about Bradford & Reed, what was the business model of your company, and how did you get designers to sign up? As I understand, initially it was tough to design, yourself. So, how did you end up getting a lot of people to design those cards?
Sure. One of the reasons that I kept going, by the way, was that I used to read Forbes magazine, and Forbes had the world's rich list. All these successful people from all over the world, how they made their money. And when you read their stories, you see, they had these big failures too, or there's some guys who maybe took them 10, 20 years to really hit. And so for 10, 20 years, they were just going at it. And then one day something worked out well. And I said, I'm not willing to work 10, 20 years and not see any progress, but I see that this is part of the process. And that's what I'm trying to do with Mixergy, and we'll talk about that later.
Sure.
So that kept me going. And I said, all these other guys have these setbacks and they find solutions that help them overcome them. I said, well, I don't know how to design greeting cards. I don't even like greeting cards, to be honest. I hate picking them out of stores. I hate when I get them. It's just shake my hand, say congratulations or happy birthday, and let me move on. What am I going to do? Put this on a mantle and save it forever? Well, what we ended up doing was saying, look, we'll do the back end. We'll create the software that powers other people's greeting cards. All we'll do is we'll make it so easy that if you have a greeting card online, you just put our little bit of code on your website and we'll power it and make sure that that when people see your greeting card and want to send it to their friends, that they could send it easily, that their friends will receive it, and that everything will work fine, and that you'll get paid. I knew how to make sales, so I figured we'll sell advertising in it for you. You don't even have to do that. We'll make sure that you get paid and that you have a greeting card that works.
Fantastic. And moving from the business model of Bradford Reed to Mixergy, what's the business model of your site now, and is it profitable?
It is profitable. For a long time there wasn't a business model behind it. It was just me spending money on it. It's a legacy that I want to leave. Then I said, I'm listening to all these guys build businesses, and if I don't make Mixergy into a real business, it's going to look like I'm a hypocrite, saying business is great, but not for me. I'm beyond business. So I started out by accepting advertising, and ads did very well. And then I said, I don't want advertisers to pay. I want my users to love my stuff so much that they pay for it. And so I created a premium program where I basically say, I've interviewed at this moment on the website, it says 588 interviews. So I interviewed over 500 people. And they told the stories of how they built their businesses. Wouldn't it be interesting to have them come back and not just tell me how they built it, but show me how I could do it. Show me their computer screens, and if they're really good at getting traffic, I want to see their computer screen, and I want to see them. I want to see the article that they wrote that got traffic, and then I want to see the email that they wrote and sent to someone else to say, you should link to this because this fits you. And then I want to see the back and forth exchange. And then I want to see how they got, if it's social media that got them traffic, I want to see the first tweet that they sent out and understand why that worked. And I want that for everything. And if they're really good at SEO, don't just tell me they're SEO plugins for websites. Take me to the plugin website. Show me the list of plugins that are available. Tell me why you're picking the one that you're picking. Then show me how to configure it and make it so that I can do it myself, or I can hand it to one of my employees and say, watch this and do it yourself. Teach me how I could do it, how we can do it at our company. And that's the idea behind it. And it's premium. I've got now, 588 interviews, 23 courses like the ones that I just described, and the model is you pay $25 a month and you get all past courses and all future courses as we build them.
And everything is online. There's no physical courses
It's all online. People will often just watch it on their iPhones, or they'll watch it on their computer and do it along with the person who's teaching.
Are you thinking of something like an iPhone or an iPad app of some sort for the courses?
I guess so. I feel like I need to do that, but I'm obsessed with the quality of the information. My big obsession right now isn't the delivery mechanism. It's that I know that there's certain ways that people learn. Like if you can show them something that blows their mind quickly and that they can use quickly, then they'll feel like they're capable of learning and stick with the program and actually implement it. That's why I used to, after Bradford Reed, I volunteered at Dale Carnegie. This is the organization that was started by the guy who wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People. He's all about building friendships and relationships. And I noticed that there's so many different things they could teach you there. But the first thing they start off with is they teach you a system for remembering people's names. And they do that because the system works so well that anyone can use it. And within the room, you can use it. You don't have to wait till you're in a situation where someone's angry at you and use your interpersonal skills on them. No, in the room, you could remember the names of the other people in the course. And once you do that, within an hour, you remember every single student in your course. You remember all their names. You feel like, boy, these guys know it. I know it. I'm smart enough that I can pick this stuff up. And then students will sit for weeks and absorb the knowledge that often retrains their relationships with other people. I feel like we need to do the same thing at Mixergy. I need to find a way to give you an instant win within the first 5 minutes and make you feel like, oh man, I thought SEO was hard. Search engine optimization is not that hard. I can implement it right now. And that's the stuff, you see me get excited right here, that's the stuff I'm obsessed with. How do I make sure that you feel confident that you can do this stuff? How do I make sure that you get the results that you want? How do I make sure that when you go and you look at your life a month later, you see, boy, things have really changed because of this. I'm really glad that I met that guy in the vest and I took his course.
This is really brilliant. Is this still out there, the one that teaches you how to memorize student names?
Dale Carnegie teaches it, yes, in their sessions. But maybe we should do it on Mixergy too, and let people have that instant win.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, it's brilliant. So, out of all these courses, Andrew, which one do you think is the most popular one, the most demanded one?
The one that people really watch a lot. And these are internet entrepreneurs that are watching. It's guys who create software often or iPhone apps. The one that they love is the copywriting course. And the reason I think that they like it is they recognize that we learn about how to make good software. We learn how to make good web apps. But what we don't learn about, what we don't cheer on is how to sell them. And I see often these brilliant guys in my audience who create these great iPhone apps and then nobody buys them. And they're still stuck at jobs during the day, or maybe they're still stuck with their investors' money trying to figure out how to make this thing work. And in comes this guy, Dane Maxwell, who says, I'll show you how you can sell this stuff. I'll teach you certain language gets people to buy. And I'll show you that it's not just me. And I know you think that all people who use sales language online are scumbags. So what I'm going to show you is Steve Jobs using some of these same tactics. It's not complicated. It's not beneath you. If you learn it, you can see results. All the hard work you put into creating the product, into creating the software, into creating the app, to creating whatever you're selling, just put a little bit of effort into selling it, and you're going to get more excited about the whole product itself, and you're going to have a viable business behind the product. And I think that's why it's exciting.
Excellent. And you said you have over 500 interviews you've conducted so far. How do you get people to be on this doing interviews with? Do you have a special
okay. I tried in the beginning so many different ways to get people to say yes. Now remember, this and the system that I'll show you works when you're trying to get people to say yes to anything online, not just interviews. The people who I ask for stuff, I often will ask them to do an interview. I don't pay for the interviews. Do a course. Not only don't we pay them to teach the course, but we demand that they put in hours of work beforehand. Often even with interviews, we demand that they put in lots of time beforehand to prep it, because I'm obsessed with doing this stuff right. We were doing a course with, where is that book? My wife has it. Oren Klaff. This is an investment banker. My course producer spent 2 hours on a Sunday with him going over the material, and we're still going to spend even more. So I get people to give me a lot, and they in the beginning especially, they didn't get anything in return because I didn't have an audience. So how did I get them to do it? Here's the thing. Most people will say, I'm going to write this email that justifies why the person should do business with me. And then I'm going to explain. First, I'll start off by why I love them. Then I'm going to explain and justify why they should do business with me. I've got this great reputation and all these people have done business with me and so on. And then they ask, and then they come back and they say, I'm only asking because I love you or because I think this is a great deal for us or whatever. No. What I found is send a short email where the first sentence has the ask built right into it and is specific enough that if they just check it on their BlackBerries and they see the top little peek into what the content of the email is, in that sentence they could understand it. So if I'm asking for an interview, and I'll say the next two steps in that. If I'm asking for an interview, I say, I almost want to show you my screen and show you the emails I've sent out to people to let you see it. I say, can I interview you on August 10th at 11 a.m. Eastern via video Skype for 1 hour? Like right there, you know exactly where we're going to meet, Skype, when we're going to meet on August 10th, how long it's going to take, what medium we're going to do. Do I need to put makeup on if I'm a woman or a man sometimes? Do I need to do my hair? Yeah, because it's going to be via video Skype. So very, very clear so they could respond right away. That alone, I remember when I asked the founder of 37 Signals, I said, you're coming here and doing an interview with me today after you said that you're putting up one of your properties for sale. Why did you agree to say yes when you're putting up a property for sale to do this interview with me? And why do you always agree to say yes? He says, Andrew, you always make it very easy to say yes because I know exactly what you're asking for. And usually when people ask me with long emails, I feel like I have to write long emails in return. With you, I can just respond right back and say, yep, nope, and be done. Because I know I don't have to sit and think through my writing. I don't procrastinate on it. That's the first thing. The second thing is, that's where you explain who you are and maybe add some social proof. So it might be this is for Mixergy.com where I interview successful entrepreneurs. So then you explain who you are. Or if you're selling something, it would be this is for Groupon.com where we feature the best local restaurants. And the final sentence is some social proof where I would say I've interviewed Jimmy Wales, the founder of Wikipedia. I've interviewed Paul Graham, the founder of Y Combinator, and I think you'd be a great fit. And that's a little bit of social proof in there, and boom, and you nail it. 3 sentences, you get it all done. I've seen people do this now since I teach a course on how to ask for interviews. I've seen people do this and get guests that I haven't been able to get myself.
Well, we'll certainly need to benefit from this experience ourselves.
I just realized I went on really long on that answer.
Oh, no,
and I don't
no. Well,
care.
we need
I get so excited about it because look, we're sitting here in our own little worlds, and we want to do business with people, right? And the process often is go fly out and see them at a conference, get to know them. If I found this little tactic that gets people to say yes to me remotely with little work, it's golden. And now I hired a virtual assistant. And this woman is sending out the exact same email, copy paste, changing the date, and it doesn't even have to come from me.
So, as far as Mixergy goes, do you have any changes or any new changes, new plans for the near term?
So what's new is I made mistakes with Mixergy in the beginning. I was so busy doing interviews that I ignored a lot of the rest of the site. I remember I interviewed the guy who created the TV show Cops, who worked for Rupert Murdoch of News Corp. I mean, this guy's got a great track record of putting out lots of TV shows, including Cops, which is, I think, maybe the longest-running TV show now. And he's worked for one of the most impressive media moguls out there. And I said, let me take a step back from hearing your story and ask you about my site. What do you think I could do better? And he said, Andrew, I don't know what your site is about. I come in here and I see this name Mixergy. What's a Mixergy? And you have this little tagline that says where entrepreneurs, where upstarts mix. Like, what do you mean by that? What kind of mixing are we doing here? You asked me to do an interview and I said yes, but really I don't even know what this is about. And I said, what would you do differently? And he said, when we put on a show, we know we have people's attention for a very short period of time. So everything we do has to just strengthen the message of what it's about and be clear. And I thought, oh yeah, I should say on Mixergy what it's about, what's the product. But I didn't have time. I was too busy doing interviews. Anyway, this week I finally did it. I put this big thing on the website that says learn from proven entrepreneurs in 588 interviews and 23 courses. I put pictures of the entrepreneurs underneath it, some social proof. You see the founder of Kiva, founder of Y Combinator, founder of Groupon, who's been on it. And it's so interesting. Nothing else changed. We didn't roll out anything else. We didn't roll out a call to action yet that says go sign up for the premium service. But I was sitting at home and suddenly starting to see an order come in and another order come in and another order come in. And I thought, it's great that people on Twitter are saying great header on your site and people are emailing me compliments. That's wonderful. But when I see that actually people are ordering more because of it, I realize, I was such a fool to forget about messaging. Messaging is so clearly important. So I know it seems like a small change, but that little change has done so much. And I can imagine as we continue with it that we'll see even more results.
Yeah, you may want to, I guess, have a course on that one.
And you know what? Actually, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
See, even I myself, the little things that I should be taking really seriously, I forget about. I think so much about the product and not about the marketing of it. Whenever I talk to entrepreneurs who built companies quickly, they tell me that they spend 50% of their time building and 50% promoting. Essentially, I know they're throwing out very generic numbers, but it gives me a sense that promotion is just as important as building, and I need to spend more time on that.
I think that's because emotions override sometimes.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? I know what I mean by that, but I'm curious what you mean.
Well, because you have so much passion for what you're doing, so you end up putting a lot of effort and time into the actual courses and the interviews and whatnot, and maybe not focus as much on polishing up your site and showcasing what you've got to offer. So yeah, like I said, I think sometimes emotions override, and that's problems that the entrepreneurs face sometimes because they have so much passion that they want to drive them to be successful, but they gotta get out of that comfort zone and think about how to get some money out of it.
And you know what? The people who pay, I was so reluctant to charge, but once I did, I realized the people who pay have a vested interest in the product. I remember asking investors tell me about how advisors work in a company. He said, well, you get these successful people to come in and give advice and help out, and you make phone calls to them often if you can, do it on a weekly basis so you get continuous feedback from them. And I thought, well, if they're so successful, do you even have to give them shares? And to a man, every one of them said yes. And they also said, get them to pay if possible. And I said, why get them to pay? You're giving them shares and they're paying with their time. And he said, once they pay, they feel a stronger vested interest, a stronger need to see you succeed once they buy some shares. And I found the same thing. Once people pay for my site, I used to think that they would say, you jerk, you're not giving me enough for my money, you could do so much more. What I found instead is they think, oh, I'm going to help you do more. I want to help you improve the courses because I'm paying for them. I want to help you get more people in here because I think it's exciting and not enough people see it. It's just been a dramatically different reaction.
That's excellent. So in terms of long-term plans, what's your exit strategy for Mixergy?
Death. I want to do this till the end of time.
That's what you initially said about Bradford and Reed, I guess.
I know, and I can't tell you how hurt I was. I was so hurt that I couldn't continue it forever. The people who I admire, like Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch didn't do News Corp for 5 years and then sold it 5 years later. And sold it and went on to do something else. I mean, he's really having global influence. Some people think for bad, some people think for good. Regardless, he's having global influence because he's stuck with it. When you look at Google wouldn't have been as impressive today, wouldn't have rocked our world as much if they would have sold to Yahoo for $1 million or $10 million or $100 million years ago. The people who we admire are the ones who just really stick with a problem and keep getting better and better at solving it. And that's my angle. I'm not saying that everyone needs to live that way, but that's where I want to be here.
Fair enough. So, talking now in general, what does it take to have Western entrepreneurs and investors open up their eyes at markets like the Middle East or Arabia, for instance?
I'm thinking of when I started dating. I moved to California after selling Bradford and Reed just so I can date, because in California there's great dating, like lots of beautiful women. And is this inappropriate for me to say on your site?
No, go for it.
Okay. Lots of beautiful women. They come to California, so they don't have much connections. They don't have boyfriends there. They came to start a new life in Los Angeles, especially. And I would just start trying to get one of them to date me, and I would just push it. Like, what can I do? What can I do to get them to say yes to dating me? And it never worked. And then when I realized, hey, I don't really need them to date me, and I just have like conversations, do my own thing, and they wanted to date me, then things just turned around. I feel the same thing for entrepreneurs. If we just keep creating great products without this need for other people, without the need for some guy in Silicon Valley or in the West to care about us, they're going to start to care about us, and they're going to start to but they're going to come begging to work with the people who are listening to us now. And that's the heart of it. Can you build something that's so exciting that you're passionate about getting up every day and building it, that you feel like you can crush anyone else who gets in your space? I feel that's the answer.
That's a great answer. So I guess in closing, I wanted to ask you, being an entrepreneur yourself and having a great deal of exposure to other entrepreneurs, what sort of hot topics or hot areas or maybe gaps that you've seen or you're seeing now that you think are great ones for entrepreneurs to capture and open up businesses in those spaces?
Mobile. I feel like the guys who I interview who are in mobile in any way, just because they're in mobile, they find that all these big companies need mobile apps and are willing to pay for them. Just because they're in mobile, they find that people still don't have all the apps that they want on their phone. Like on my computer, I'm not going to install a new app every week. Might be one a month, maybe less. Maybe it's 2 or 3 a month, but it's not every day. On my phone, every day I go into the App Store to see what else I can install. Every day I look around to see what else I can add to my phone or what else I can do with it. And I feel like that's where the action is. That's where you don't have to steal customers from other people. You have to just say, I'm here and I know you're desperate for it. And it feels like there's always something. And I've asked, by the way, the people who I've interviewed who are in the mobile space, did you do so well because you just picked the mobile space? And they to a man, they say, yes, this is it. It's because we're in a space that's hot right now. We're in a space where companies are desperate to find someone to do their mobile apps for them.
Any certain verticals in the mobile space?
I love businesses, but small businesses that are small, because businesses have money to spend. When I'm personally thinking about what app do I put on my phone, $1.99 seems like a lot. Why should I add it? But when I think about like going on to my website and thinking, hey, I'd like to do A/B testing. I'm pretty price insensitive. I don't even know how much I paid for Visual Website Optimizer, which lets me do rapid A/B testing on my site. I think I paid $40 for it, maybe $50. Didn't even give it a second thought. Boom, I just go in there and I did it. Right? And so, because what's $50? Right? And there are lots of entrepreneurs and lots of businesses like mine who are just, they spend the money because they know that it's not that much in comparison to payroll. It's not that much in comparison to revenues, and they could justify it very quickly. I love that market. On the high end, there are businesses that just will put you just through hell and back to make a sale because they try to squeeze you. I just read a book by one of the first employees at Google. The guy's book is called "I'm Feeling Lucky," and he talked about how when Google got a little bit of power, how they would just squeeze suppliers. They would ask for stuff for free that they should have really paid for just because they said, look, you'll get to put our logo on your website and say we're a customer of yours. Give it to us for free. And they squeeze them through this process. You know, I don't like to deal with those kinds of companies because they just have too much power and too many steps involved in getting to buy something. But in the middle, there are businesses that are roughly my size. What is it? 37 Signals calls them the Fortune 5 million. They can justify spending money, and there are a lot of them out there, and they make decisions pretty quickly.
Phenomenal. So thank you, Andrew, for being with us today, and we look forward to having you in future interviews. Thank you so much, Andrew. And once again, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.